Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John and it's time for another super embarrassing sequel episode of 7 on Sunday. It's 7 super bad songs that I like unironically. The awful music that I somehow just brush to the side and say, you know what? I don't care if this is bad on an objective level. I don't care if the music kind of sounds like ass or maybe the lyrics just straight up suck. These songs speak to me in some way, and I'm willing to admit that to the world, and that takes a big man. If you have not seen the first installment of this episode of 7 on Sunday, then I highly suggest tapping the card on screen to see everything from Miley Cyrus to Nickelback. There are 7 others that I've admitted to the world, and there's gonna be 7 more today. If you enjoy this episode, then do me a favor, despite possibly some of the cringe that you'll feel like, how does he like that? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and remember that these are the exceptions, not the rule. I don't love every song in this vein. I'll try my best to explain why I enjoy these songs. It's not necessarily a full love, but still, yes, I like these, so let's get going.
Do you remember? I never forget touching your body, all soaking wet. The water was cool, the feeling was hot. Kissing on you while the ocean rocked.
How do I explain myself here? I don't really know. New Kids on the Block, a group that started in the 80s and mostly had their fame during the 90s, came back in the late 2000s, and in 2008, we got the single Summertime from their album of a name that I don't even care to remember. Donnie Wahlberg and company were dancing their way back onto the charts with this very synthetic single that is just like so basic. The synths feel like they're programmed in GarageBand by somebody who just started, and I can see all of the little gripes and criticisms, and in fact I feel that they're warranted. But I listen to this song and it just kind of takes me back, and I have the itch to groove on a dance floor with my LG chocolate phone in '08. These are very specific references that I'm making, and a lot of you are probably going to be too young to understand them, but just think of it like this. This is one of those songs that you know it sounds cheap, and you know that the lyrics are just so cheesy, basic, like, hey girl, I saw you, you're on my mind, I think about you when the sun sets in the east, and the clouds are out there on this sunny day, and girl, I'm thinking about you! And I know it sucks, but here we are. Here I am, admitting that this song goes down smooth and that I could probably jam it 9 days out of the week, and there's not even 9 days.
Keep your ass up high and your head down low. Yeah, then twerk, twerk, twerk like a goddamn pro.
In the year of our musical lords Anno Domini 2014, we got a little album called Year of the Caprice by a musical duo known as Cherub. They make kind of alternative music. I suppose that's an easier label to attach than like R&B, dance, hip-hop, occasionally other elements too. But the song on my list at number 6 is called Strip to This, featuring a guest verse from Fort Bowie. This song was on that album, and I really just had one of those shooting star moments where it just felt like this was this one thing that passed by pretty quickly, but I had a phase with this record where I could not stop playing it. I really must have been going through something. I don't entirely know what, but Strip to This is a stripper's anthem, I suppose. But the coin is flipped to the other side here in the sense that it's not a rattling trap banger. It's kind of a laid-back, cool, like, listen to this while you're relaxing on a lake, cracking a beer with the boys, except you're at the strip club type of song. I mean, it's very chill, it's very relaxing. The lyrics float right on by, but they're saying things like, pop that pussy and all this other stuff, and I kind of cringe when I listen to it now, but also at the same time, the vibe still gets to me because I look at it and I'm like, this is really piss poor from an objective point of view, but I'm seeing it through these rose-colored glasses that I can't seem to take off because they've been glued to my face.
Headstrong to take on anyone. I know that you are wrong.
Okay, let me explain myself on this one because Trapt are one of those support the troops or else I love America type bands and rock that I just genuinely cannot stand because I feel the testosterone in the air when I'm just sitting there listening and I'm like, oh my god, this dude is chugging some Red Bulls in a parking lot somewhere in his sleeveless tee. My god, what am I gonna do to protect myself? He's got a tap out tank on, oh no! It's easy to make fun of, but here I am myself just putting it out in the world at number 5. 5, Headstrong by Trapt, this early 2000s rock hit that was all over the radio. It was every sporting event ever's theme song. And my earliest memories of this track were from this kid, Troy, that I've mentioned a few times on my channel. He gave me a lot of CDs that I was able to rip to my own collection back in like 2005, 2006. And this Trapt album was one of them. I always loved this song in particular because it's got that big anthemic, like, back off, I'll take you on, I will fight anybody in the world that puts fists to me. I kind of forgot about it for a few years, but then we moved to a new house and it was right behind a public high school, and they would play music before each football game, and that was really one of my only opportunities to actually hear rock music like that because my parents were pretty strict about banning it. But I would sit there, put a lawn chair in the front yard, listening to songs like this, and I knew I could count on them to play Headstrong every single game. Why am I about to admit this? I'm gonna do it, but this was my first Weezer song. Yes, I continued being a Weezer fan after that. I don't know how. No, but in all seriousness, I lapped this song up when it came out in 2005. I mean, this was one of the first 7 tracks on my first ever mix CD that I was gifted. So, of course, I do have some sort of attachment to it. We go way back. I got my roots with Weezer, and the roots are buried in the Make Believe album cycle? That's weird to say. In retrospect, most people are like, yeah, it hasn't aged well. This song is just out of place in Weezer's discography. I disown this, and you know what? I'm going to bat for this song because I know it's not their best. I know that Blue and Pinkerton and White and Ubate are much better than anything that will be found on this album, and Beverly Hills in particular. But I am okay with residing, okay, in this field right now where Weezer made something so outlandish for them that I don't even know what to think about it, but the lyrics are too catchy and too gimmicky in a lot of ways to resist.
Let it be known when I roll around town. If your girl lost this, she about to be found.
I was thinking about taking my shirt off for the sake of this bit, but I am not gonna do that because nobody deserves that. There's just, I mean, look how white that is. No one wants this. Take Your Shirt Off by TPain, the early 2010s. What a fun time in pop music. The auto-tune thing in TPain, I never really saw that as super off-putting because he does have his own unique brand, and the man can sing. Just watch his Tiny Desk concert on NPR for proof of that. Take Your Shirt Off is ridiculous though, and yes, I don't think it paints women in the best light. I mean, saying basically, take your shirt off because that's what the boys want. Yeah, just do it. Wave it in the air like a motherfucking helicopter. That's essentially the song, but the beat and the skittering drums and his over-pronunciation of certain words like, and I roll around town. It's like, look, come on, dude. Like, how am I not gonna crack up at this, but also rock out, jam out at the same time? It's as insipid as they come, and God bless TPain. The man is out here doing the Lord's work with his auto-tune and everything, and he's taken some breaks, he's taken some time off, and he still has come back and put out some bangers in recent years. And I'll go back to some of the early stuff. Not exactly my thing. Songs like Bartender are still fine, but this one in particular, it's still a single, but it's more of an unknown single compared to some of those huge ones. So I figured I would feature it here and say, you know what, I maybe got a little bit of a soft spot for old TPain.
Take a bite on your disco stick. Let's play a love game, play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame or you win that game?
Oh, we're gonna have some fun indeed with this one. And number 2, Lady Gaga, Love Game. Even people who have come to love Gaga over the years and respect that she is a very trained, a very professional vocalist that has a lot of different sides to her, a lot of different talents, most people still will point to Love Game and say, you know, that's kind of like one of the worst songs that she ever put out. The single, not very good. Disco Stick, what the fuck? And I'm over here just like, okay, I'm casually trying to resist jamming in the club right now. I don't know about you other 2000s kids, but at the end of the decade, I was just hypnotized by everything that Lady Gaga was doing. She was so outlandish with some of her efforts, intentionally so, of course, to put eyes on her, and I'm sure that some of that was manufactured to get people talking. But at the same time, Love Game was one of those songs that just had me jamming along. It's like one of those tracks, especially back then at my Christian high school. I was scared to tell people that I liked this song, but then I found out that some of my other friends were actually fans of her, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, so we can talk about this whole disco stick thing? I love the glitchy electronic production on this track, the synthesizers that just kind of drip out. The beat feels supercharged, and also Gaga's vocals still feel confident. If you can dismiss the lyrics on this track and maybe pay attention to it just from a musical point of view, maybe you'll come around on it, but I also don't blame you if you don't. I will agree, from an objective point of view, it's not very good, but it speaks to me for whatever reason, and here we are. There was Love Game at number 2.
Make the girls take it all off. I like it like that. Yeah, one more time. I can never get enough.
Novelty bands like Hot Chelle Rae come and go, and for good reason. They're extremely disposable. But in their normally short runs, they can often drop off some singles that get stuck in your head and never leave you, and as much as you don't want to admit it, you're probably still having the lyrics bounce around in the back of your head. And that's why at the number 1 position, I've picked I Like It Like That by Hot Chelle Rae. The lyrics are pure cringe. Some of the rhymes, like lost my iPhone. I'd just be glad that the iPhone actually took off, because you were at severe risk of that line aging terribly. What's wrong with me? I generally hate songs like this that just name check all these things and they list off everything that's going on. It's been a bad week. I need to release pressure. I lost my phone. But oh, when the windows go down and the girls are here and they're so hot, that I like. I generally despise and throw things like that straight out the window. But instead, here I am, every summer, around the pool, listening to Hot Chelle Rae, casually. I know I can't be the only one out there that feels this way. Maybe it's Tonight Tonight for you, or some of their other hits like, Oh, well, that's awkward. I guess they didn't have any other hits. I mean, there were a few other songs that I thought I could name, but no, nothing's coming to mind. But for now, we'll leave you on that note. I like it like that. Thank you for tuning in to another sequel episode of 7 on Sunday. We're celebrating 7 years of SOS. Please drop a like on this video, and keep in mind that everything that you saw today, it's just my own personal opinion, my own personal bad taste in this particular situation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. A couple of recent episodes floating right below me here. Socials in the description, and I'll see you soon for more right here on ARTV.